What's up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Lead From Here podcast. I'm Jason. Today, we're here to talk about distractions. This is something that is just everywhere in our world today. Like, it doesn't matter where you look. Restaurants, the beach, the pool, the office, everywhere. Your family gatherings, your bed, probably. You see distractions, whether it's a phone, TV, newspaper, still read newspaper, I guess, but ultimately, like, all of these things are kind of coming together to distract you, and that is no less true in the business setting. So in the business setting, if you look around, you see people getting distracted all the time. They talk about this being the most distracted business workplace it's ever been. Now, it's easier to create distraction than it used to be. I would say it's still when everybody was in the office, it's very easy to be distracted in an office. Like, people walking by, got a minute meetings, all these different things that can ultimately impact your ability to focus. So I would say it's probably, in my opinion, equal. Like, it was kind of the equal amounts, and a lot of people are working remotely now. So yeah, it's easier to distract somebody when you're not in the same room. And it's easy to kind of forget that, like, hey, a Slack message or an email or a text message or whatever messenger you use can impact somebody's focus. And when you're working with people that are highly technical and working in situations where they need to have deep focus to get their stuff done, it's easy for one message to derail all that. And leaders are usually the worst offenders. And that's something that I think as a leader, you really need to focus on a daily basis. Does this message need to be sent right now? A lot of messaging services have send later functionality where you can just pick a time. And that's what I try to do. I usually try and do it first thing in the morning. Like, if I'm doing something in the middle of the day and it's not pressing and I just need an answer at some point in the next couple of days, I will type out the message I'm going to send later, pick a date or time first thing in the morning or right at the end of the day, and just set for the timer, because that's the best way to basically allow everyone to keep working, because that's ultimately the goal, right? We're all there to work, and I understand that sometimes you get escalations, sometimes that things come up, but ultimately, if there's ways for you as a leader to diffuse that situation on your own, delay it, or handle it yourself, like that's probably the best way, because then you really don't distract people. But ultimately, if you need to distract somebody, make sure that it has to be right that moment. Communicate with the people that are escalating. Communicate with the problem, the people that are solving the problem at hand. Communicate and figure out, like, hey, this person's working on something big. Can we give it to the end of the day or tomorrow? They may still say no, and then you're going to have to distract that person. That happens, no doubt. But ultimately, at the end of the day, asking those questions make people kind of think the next time they come to you. And it's not going to be like, oh, Jason won't work with us. Never going to talk to him again. Not going to pull him in. It's, hey, let's make sure this is legit. And maybe I can just hit Jason and say, hey, we got this issue. In the next couple of days, can we get somebody to take a look at this? That is much more realistic in a lot of situations, but there's also situations where it's not. So, and I'm sensitive to that. So I understand that it's easy to, like, don't distract people. It's on you to make sure that your team is as least distracted as possible. So have them set aside block time where they shut off their communications. Let them be in deep work for an hour or two. The whole world's not going to fall apart in an hour or two in a company. It's just not how it works. 2, make sure that you're, like, when you say that it has to be now, it has to be now. Don't distract them unless it has to be now. If it can be at any other time, wait. Let them be in their moment and deal with it. One of the other things that, the last thing I'll share is, it's important to understand who else is pinging your people, because that happens a lot, especially if somebody's really good at their job. People will be like, oh, that person was really good when they helped me. Like, when I talked to Jason and he pulled somebody in, that person that he pulled in was really great. And I can just message that person directly. I'm just going to bypass Jason. And then that way I'm not bothering Jason. It's like, no, that's not how that works. You guys still gotta come to me. Like, come to me so I can tell you whether that person's available or not. But I digress. Ultimately, they're going to start getting pinged by people because people know they're awesome. And you're working with awesome people, and that's awesome. A lot of awesomes. Just awesome. At the end of the day, you're not going to be able to stop it all, but it's really incumbent of you to tell your person, like, hey, if people are reaching out to you, redirect them to me and be like, listen, I can't make that call. Reach out to Jason. Jason will fit it into my schedule and decide what's up. Obviously, Jason being the leader in your company, I guess. Ultimately, That's what it looks like, is giving them the power to say no, which there's another episode about saying no. I will link to that. But ultimately, that's what it's about, right? It's giving them the ability to say, Jason told me I can do this. My leader told me I can do this. I can say no, talk to my leader. They're the ones that deal with my prioritization and my scheduling. So if there's something that's higher priority than I'm working on, they need to sign off on that. That gives them the out to not feel like they have to help and also not feel bad about saying no. That's it. This one has rambled on a little bit longer than I wanted to, but ultimately distractions can absolutely kill throughput for your team. So limit them in any ability you can. Make sure you're not the one doing the most of it, because that's usually what it is. It's usually the leader that causes the biggest disruption. So be thoughtful in all of your messaging and all of your contact points. Be thoughtful. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, hit me up, jason@leadfromhere.co, or any of the social media platforms. If you like what you're hearing, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, take care of yourselves.